presented to VBTA. This is a first. And as stakeholders, it's imperative that Virginia Beach citizens are well informed and have access to all components of city ventures. Our guest speaker has a unique opportunity to be a first for our organization, and I would like it to be a standard event for any and all groups proposing major citizen propositions. This is filmed and it is available on YouTube. All you have to do is search VBTA. Our videographer, Rick, says that we're not getting the hits that he had expected, so I would hope that you would take the time. They are all listed by date, and we just had Robert Dean, former councilman, make a late arrival. So really, a little housekeeping before I introduce our guest speaker, and I'm going to paraphrase Gary Byler when he moderated our one-sided debate. And for those of you who may not have been here for our mayoral debate, the candidate, his opponent, chickened out. I'm sorry, he canceled it last week. As Gary said, we won't have any noise making or loud commentary, no sidebar conversations. Basically, this audience, and I know I have realistic expectations, will have behavior befitting mature adults. We ask that you use those 3x5 cards on the table if you have questions as the presentation goes along, only because we would like to get through the entire presentation. And historically, we have had some issues where in the middle people ask questions, those evolve into something else, and then we're never really quite finished with the entire presentation as it was meant to be, or we get off track. So we'd like you to use those, please. And Dane is also going to be acting as our sergeant at law as well. And I realize we have a lot of energized attendees with some really strong opinions on this proposal. So we do request that you keep your comments, not comments, but questions, and we're not going to take this opportunity to editorialize at this point. If you think you have specifics that differ from the information that's being presented, please form that into a question so that you can ask it appropriately. This is going to allow us sufficient time for all the questions to be answered, as well as any follow-up that needs to be done. You can either pass your cards to a board member, or you can raise your hand, and we will call on you so you can ask those questions. So we're honored and delighted to have as our guest speaker Michael Culpepper, managing partner of Venture Realty Group, and he has brought Donna McMillan with him, associate in the organization. He's a real estate development company, Venture Capital, and I'd like to say that he is local. So we have this is not someone from Northern Virginia. We don't have someone from New York State coming in. This is someone who was raised in the area and is conscious and aware of what the needs are in this city. They've developed projects in coastal Virginia for 30 years. The group has developed 6 million square feet of projects worth over $600 million. Their project includes Venture Apartments, Red Mill Commons, Marketplace at Hilltop, and Edinburgh Commons. He is a managing his partner, and I have to apologize if my computer died, so I couldn't shut out, and I couldn't find my phone this morning. I used it to text and then join the club. So I'm trying to read from his phone and having some. So I apologize. All of this information was in your email, and I do apologize. I'm usually a little more professional at this. I'm trying to find all of your information, which is not in here.
That's okay. Actually, we don't need the bio.
Okay, his bio is that he is an attorney and thank you. Yes. He joined the team in 2008 as an in-house attorney and worked previously as real estate attorney for Williams Mellon, where he handled all facets of land use and real estate transactions. Graduated from Freed's Elementary in '89, Princess Anne Jr. and Powell High School. College of William and Mary in '99, and University of Richmond School of Law. Lives in Virginia Beach with his wife Erin and son Daniel, member of the State Bar, Virginia Beach Vision, Chamber of Commerce, both for coming out this morning and for you leaving your son and wife in order to present to this organization. Thank you. We will have the 50-50 at the end of the presentation and leave a few minutes for announcements as well.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to come speak to y'all today. As you know, Mike Culpepper, I'm one of the managing partners of Venture Open Group. Don McMillan, another managing partner and founding partner of our team. As we mentioned, our team's been developing projects in Virginia Beach and in the surrounding Hampton Roads and coastal Virginia areas for a very long time, nearly 30 years. So we're very proud to be here today. I'm particularly proud that we get to be the first public-private partner, hopefully, to present to you today. I think that's something that I know I'm personally very proud of, that we've conducted a campaign of outreach to the community, and whether we agree or disagree, hopefully we can use this opportunity to have a dialogue and have a more productive discussion about the issues that affect us. We're here to talk about a project that Donna and I have been working very hard on for the last 2 years, and that's the Dome Development Project at the oceanfront. And today, we want to do a little bit more than simply provide information. We want to start a dialogue, and it's a dialogue that I hope doesn't end today. I hope it really continues throughout the years to come as we continue to look at whether or not our city should be investing in economic development. Over the course of the last election cycle, we've had a lot of really strong opinions on both sides being expressed. And so hopefully today can be a way to advance our collective discussions beyond what we see in Washington today, beyond sort of partisan bickering, to really deal with issues in a philosophical way, in a substantive way, and do what we think is collectively best for our city. And so today we're going to talk about a project, but we're going to have some disagreements about what we ought to be doing philosophically with city revenues. However, I think some of you may be surprised at how much we actually have in common and how much we actually will agree. For example, our development team, is mostly comprised of locals. Most of us live here, we're born here, we're educated here. I'm very proud that there are 3 members of this project team that graduated from Kellam High School. I think that's really cool. I think the products of the Virginia Beach Public School System giving back to our city is a really good thing. And so I hope that you will agree at the end of this discussion, while we may disagree about certain things, we agree that we want what's best for our friends and neighbors in the city of Virginia Beach. We are here in the community, and whether we agree with one another or not, we want what's best for our neighbors. I think we can also agree that the process for selecting public-private partnership participants needs to improve. And I think our process over the last 2 years has hopefully advanced the processes that we have in the city. I hope that the amount of public engagement that we've had and the amount of interaction with the public that we've had demonstrates how you can do this in a way that generates more public input and that gives more confidence in the process. We need to be more transparent with these types of projects, and I hope that we've done some good in advancing that goal. And lastly, one of the things that I think we're going to agree on is something that I want to underscore now, and I want to underscore it at the end of this presentation, which is that the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens, our friends, and our neighbors is more important than an economic development project. Protecting our friends and neighbors from flooding and from stormwater inundation is more important than a surf park. It is more important than an entertainment venue. We agree with you, we get it, and we support that notion wholeheartedly. Of course, where we depart is knowing that the improvements that are necessary to fix stormwater, the improvements that are necessary to prevent or to stave off flood inundation are extraordinarily expensive. And so we believe that the investments we make today should be generating the revenues to pay for these improvements tomorrow and beyond. We have 20, 50, 100 years of work to do to protect the city of Virginia Beach. In our judgment, we need to invest in economic development to continue to provide the revenue that is going to subsidize those major capital investments in the future. And so, with that, we'll dig into our presentation. Many of you have seen this presentation in one shape or form. I have significantly edited it to take out some of the stuff that I don't think you want to hear about and try to include some of the stuff that I think you do want to hear about. So for example, if any of you are interested in learning about surf bar technology, I can talk all day long about it. Feel free to ask questions. If you're interested in talking about the entertainment venue, like some, I'm absolutely willing to talk about that. But I thought for purposes of this discussion, we would stick to the process, the plan, and the proposed public investment. And so beyond that, we can talk, but that's where this presentation is going to go today. The Dome project, as you all know, has been around for a really long time. The original dome was a geodesic dome designed by Buckminster Fuller, a notable architect who designed a lot of wacky geodesic domes around North America. And this was a very iconic building in the city of Virginia Beach. A lot of notable performances at the Dome. Everyone talks about the Stones and about Jimi Hendrix. Very few people talk about the Beach Boys being there as often as they have. And it's interesting, you'll see that they were there 3 years. They toured there multiple times each year. So the Beach Boys really treated the Dome site with some reverence. I mean, they really did camp out in Virginia Beach during their East Coast runs. You'll note that it was demolished in 1994. A lot of folks online will say, you know what, they should have never demolished that building. It was a cool building. And there's something to be said for that. I think that is a building that has a cherished memory in a lot of people's minds, a lot of locals' minds. And so while it did have its problems, it had structural issues and asbestos issues, the city of Virginia Beach made a determination that it was time to demolish that in the early 90s. And they were actually contemplating the redevelopment of this site before they even demoed the site. Some of y'all were around at the time. You probably know it much better than I do. We often look at the timeline for this project and we say, holy cow, this has been a project on the minds of leadership in the city of Virginia Beach for over 30 years. I was shocked to learn that there were proposals for the redevelopment of the site before they even demolished the site. TRT had presented a plan for a regional transportation hub on that site before it was even demolished. And of course, over these last 30 years, we've had a ton of studies. We've had over 10 studies. The thing I always like to point out is that in 1991, when Old Dominion commissioned a study for the Dome site, they said, do something now, the Dome has been studied to death. That was 1991. So I make a point of saying this to let everybody know that this has been an agenda item for the city for over 30 years. And a number of individuals have attempted to develop the site over the years. Many of you remember the Michael Jenkins proposal. Some of you remember the Dolly Parton proposal, as controversial as that was. You'll remember the Peterson proposal a few years ago. All of these came and went. All of these had tons of studies. And all of these, unfortunately, did not see the light of day eventually. And so today, we are presenting a proposal based on an RFQ that was issued by the City of Virginia Beach in January of 2017. We were very excited to learn about the city's RFQ because we thought, okay, here's our chance for a local development team to finally get in the mix and present a plan that we think is unique and compelling. Donna, in the 90s, had presented a plan called Atlantic Walk, I believe, that was a mixed-use development plan. And unfortunately, Miss Dolly Parton at the time had presented an alternative plan that the city decided to run on, and of course, never did come to fruition for lots of reasons. But our team has been looking at this project for a long time. As I mentioned, we all drive past this site every day on our way to work. It's something that's very much a part of our daily routine, our daily lives. And so in January, when we looked at the RFQ and we saw what the city was asking for, mixed-use development, entertainment concepts, a 3,500-seat live entertainment performance venue, new-to-market retail, authentic restaurants, etc., we said, okay, this is a great opportunity to deliver something that the city wants. And so we dusted off our old plans, and then we started thinking of new ideas and trying to breathe in new life to these old ideas. And the original idea that we came up with, I'm sure you've seen in the newspaper, you're probably tired of seeing it, but it is a very unique plan. It was a mixed-use development plan that had a very unique focal point to it, and that's the surf park. That is the original surf park, which is a different technology, but it was something that we thought did a lot of really cool things for the project. It created open space. It created something that was a focal point, that was visually interesting and different, and we built around it. We created the mixed-use development around it, which included the entertainment venue that the city had asked for. It included, of course, the surf park, unique retail, restaurants, multifamily office, parking, and attractions. And we'll dig through those as we evolve through this plan. We obviously evolved this plan several times throughout the last 2 years. This is another iteration of the plan that shows a different orientation, but it demonstrates how much the plan has been pushed and pulled. And we've pushed and pulled the plan primarily in response to public comments. As we like to say, we've done over 30 different public and civic events for this project. We've been to civic leagues, we've been to trade organizations, we've been to local organizations that focus on economic development. We've promoted this project with a lot of different organizations, and we've also engaged a survey that many of you have taken, and that survey had over 2,500 responses, and it told us what people liked and what they didn't like. And we use that information to really help us change the plan, to make it better in our opinion. What did the survey tell us? Well, it told us, it told us what people liked. People liked the music, people liked the surf, they liked the integrated parking, and I emphasize integrated parking because parking convenience was a really important part of the discussions in the survey. And also, folks really like the experiential retail. That is a component of the project that's pretty unique. It is, experiential retail is a type of attraction, a type of retail destination where you're actually purchasing a ticket and experiencing something new and unique. It's designed to attract people to the project. And we can dig into that further if you like. We also learned what people didn't like. What people didn't like is status quo at the oceanfront. Some people call it the sensationalization of the oceanfront. This notion of having older, outdated, and outmoded strip retail filled with t-shirt shops and hermit crabs and things that might not be attractive to us who don't live at the oceanfront. And if you read the survey comments, which are all available online, and I have them here today, you'll see that a lot of people have reservations about the current condition of our oceanfront. If you were to search the comments for the word hermit crab, I think you'd find over 30 hits for hermit crab. So we took those comments and we attempted to change the project in a way that addressed those specific concerns. For example, we wanted to put parking to the east of Pacific Avenue for the ease and convenience of the patrons to the project and also beachgoers. And so we have worked with the church, the Virginia Beach United Methodist Church, to potentially put a parking deck and perhaps office above it. Furthermore, because the surf park concept was such a popular component of that survey, we expanded the surf park to what would be a competitive quality surf park that would accommodate surf events, potentially professional surf events. We also